Welcome to the Serene-ish podcast. We're two friends trying for serenity, but life happens.
I'm Larissa.
And I'm Brenda.
And we're glad you're here.
Each week we share honest conversations about navigating everyday life, faith, relationships, soul care, and all the messy in-betweens.
You'll hear reflections, a little laughter, and hopefully encouragement to find peace in your own journey, even if it's just serene-ish.
All right, so we were trying to think about what we wanted to talk about, and Larissa, you and I were texting about that, and just like what's going on in each other's lives and how we're doing. And the thing that really resonated with me and resonated with you was the whole idea of just doing enough, and I shared with you a little bit of how I'm doing right now at this point in my life. Hopefully I won't be in the same space by the time this actually comes out. I'm working through it, but it's a process. But how I was telling you that I have been needing to practice that's actually become like a daily thing. And I'm literally taking things like one day at a time, planning what the next day is going to look like. How am I navigating my responsibilities and the appointments? How do I create margin? And the mindset that I'm adopting is I'm just going to do enough. But that's a real challenge for me because I am not wired that way. Was not formed and raised that way. Just doing enough is just not a good thing in any respect. So, and then you shared that is also a work in progress for you as well. So, which might be surprising for two people who are also lean contemplative and, embrace not a hurried, overly busy life, that we would have challenges with that. So, so we thought we would talk about that, right? And that things are not always as they seem on the outside. We have our challenges too.
Right. Yeah. And I'll add to what you just said because, I mean, both of us, we also work with people in different capacities, in soul care, in life coaching, but we work with people who are they themselves trying to work out their lives, discern good boundaries, discern what healthy living and thriving means for them. And part of our role in that, in our work, is to help folks discern that, right? And but I think what you just said is so true. Like, we ourselves are also practicing those things in our own lives imperfectly, trying our best, struggling against, certain challenges, whether they are external challenges or internal barriers. But yeah, I think, as you and I were talking a little bit about this topic, it just, I think it will be fascinating to talk through like what's happening inside of us, on any given day, like you just said, like maybe in the morning, or when you're thinking about projects that need to get done, or even like when you look back on something that you worked on and reflect like, hey, how was that experience? Do I want to repeat that? Or are there lessons to be learned in how I navigated those choices that I might do differently for next time because I learned something about myself? So yeah, I think we're getting into territory that, to me, probably everyone will resonate at least with the idea, like, how do you decide what's yours to do, what is enough, and how to rest and lay it down, and not, I don't know, like, not drive yourself into the ground, not be at the cusp or in the middle of totally flaming out because you're so exhausted and overwhelmed, right? So yeah, I'm excited to have have this conversation.
Yeah, yeah. And I do want to just throw this out there. In the midst of us talking, there might be some things that come up that are a little bit more connected to mental health. I'll share just a little bit of my journey, but I would just like to encourage people and remind people that also, like Larissa and I are not therapists. And so whatever we're sharing is more coming out of our own personal experiences. So if there's something that just really draws your attention, it gives you some language, something to be curious about in that space, I would encourage you to seek out that kind of help to help you just like navigate that. It could be very helpful. It could be just an option to try. So just wanted to throw that out there because as we share just about our own lives and how we're navigating it, this really relates to like our personal journey. It doesn't mean that this is a one size fits all. Here's what you do.
Right. Good reminder.
So I was, you mentioned about how knowing when, like, what is enough. When we say, okay, this is enough. I'm going to do this and that's enough. Knowing when that line is that's enough. And I was telling you how have not figured that out in this season. I have not. I'm having to like kind of learn, feel this out. And I was sharing with you this experience I've had with my husband. So Gerson and I, we don't always go on runs together, but sometimes we do. We've been doing our long runs together, and he has a different kind of a watch than I have. And my watch will tell me, like I can set the pace. If it's supposed to be an easy run, I can set the parameters of this is the pace that's considered easy run. And it'll notify me when I'm going too fast, when I'm going too slow, and when I'm in range, when I'm in the range that I set.
Okay.
And so that helps me because then when I can see, like it says the same too fast, I can feel, oh, this is what it feels like to go too fast. Too slow. This is what it feels like to go too slow. This is right. Now, Gerson's watch doesn't do that. And he doesn't really look at his watch, quite as much. And he doesn't like using all the tech stuff that I like to use. So, so I become his tech person on the long runs, and I'll tell him, oh, this pace too fast. Oh, wow. Okay. Like he didn't catch it. And this is like in range, right? And occasionally I will tell him, okay, I'm telling you right now that we're in range because this way I want you to feel your body. This is what it's like to do an easy paced run. So now when, you're on a run, like you can start to just, without having to depend as much on the watch, you can start to feel it in your body when it's too much, when it's, not enough, and when, oh, this is enough. I can, that memory, that muscle memory. That's what I am needing right now when it comes to the other parts of my life. I need some kind of muscle memory that will tell me too fast, not enough, this is enough.
Yeah.
And so right now I'm having to actually just set timers on, we're only going to do email for 20 minutes. And when that timer goes off, this is what this is enough feels like. We're going to walk away from it. And I will tell you, my friend, that at the end of those 20 minutes, it does not feel good. It does not.
Like, are you like inside you're like, there's way more to do and I didn't do
Yes.
it? Okay.
I'm trying to weigh the benefits of this right now. Is this helping me or is this causing me more anxiety right now? I mean, honestly, because I feel like I'm literally having to, again, like in physical activity, right? There's a breaking down of the body that happens and then you build it back up, right? Anytime you're kind of breaking through a threshold. And so I feel like that's kind of what's happening. I'm having to break down these mindsets and a certain kind of work ethic that has served me well, but it has not been as healthy at times. And I'm having to break those things down and then start to build back up. And that's just not the fun part of it. I want to get to like, we're ready for race day kind of a thing. I want to be there. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay. And all right. I love that analogy or that image of like running and kind of figuring out like I hear you saying like based on whatever goal you have, like, oh, I have this distance goal or this length of time that I'm running. And for me to even get to there, like staying within my pace, like a healthy pace window, that's
Yeah.
important. That'll allow me to do that thing, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Versus, I don't know, like what's the risk? You go too hard and then you can't complete it. Or
Right.
you go too hard and yeah, maybe you complete it, but you're like fried for the rest of the day or something, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. You can
And
get an injury, you can
yeah,
cramp, you know, like, yeah, yeah. And it's
right.
not sustainable. You start to peak. And so, in the moment that you really want that, like the race
Right.
day, if you're always running at top speed, top speed, top speed in your training, and then you get to race day, you're going to be flat.
Right.
You won't have anything left in the tank because you've been using it for like months already.
Right. Okay, so taking that image and kind of going back to what you were just saying about daily life work and
Yeah.
finishing things and but doing it in a way. So yeah, like is it like I want to in that same way in my as me running, I want to live life in a way that is more sustainable
Yeah.
than when I'm risking burnout or total exhaustion or
Right.
bitterness? Like, what are the things for you in your
Yeah.
mind that are like, I want to be cautious of because I know if I don't set these parameters for myself, this is going to happen?
Right. So for me, the race day is being with people, my ability to interact with people. That's my big thing. That's my value right there. And if I am always going at a high level, I am become depleted and it's I don't I don't want to be around anybody. Like I just like I literally don't want to be around anybody. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where for me, I'm having to really look at my level of involvement in certain things. I'm having to just like do a total reframe of what I have in my life right now. What is a good pace for me right now? So, okay, so last year I did a half marathon. And this year, same race, same location, I'm going to do a 10K. How I trained for the half marathon was very different than how I've been training for the 10K. That is, I have to look at this season of my life. What kind of race is this right now in this season of my life? What does the rhythm of this life, this part of my life need to look like right now? So that's, I think, been my thing of like really trying to figure out, okay, what is enough and how do I break free from the messaging that continues to tell me that just doing enough is not okay, it's not acceptable, and embrace a different narrative that I don't always have to be at a level 10. I don't always have to get an A on my report card. I don't always have to do like be that person. And that narrative, that messaging came from such an early age. And it has just been reinforced and reinforced and reinforced. And now it's the hard work of digging it up and just saying, no, we can't. We're going to crash and burn, and then you're just not going to be able to be around people. And that's the main thing. I want to be able to engage with people. I want to walk with people. I want to, So now I know you shared like, kind of like what do they say, same, but different. But you're kind of coming from a different, this is how
Right.
your personality is wired.
Right. By the way, this isn't personality talk, but for folks who are listening to all of Brenda's amazing running analogies, Larissa jogs for like 1 or 2 miles sometimes, and I really have been enjoying them, but they're like totally just, I have no goals as a runner. Actually, that's not true. My one goal is to like run, enjoy it, and like get some heart health benefits, whatever that is, for as long as possible. So in my mind, sometimes I tell myself the shorter run might be better because you're not going to get injured and you're not going to take yourself out.
And this is coming from someone who said you despise running. Yes. Like, I was shocked when you guys said that. What did you guys do as a family? Was it a 5K?
Oh, we did a 8-mile. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
like a whole
that was
family
very
event.
fun. Yeah, that was very fun.
Steve is trying to convince me.
Steve is trying to convince me at some point to do a half marathon, and I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know. That sounds horrible. Okay.
It's fun. It is fun. It is fun. It is horrible and it's fun at the same time.
I don't believe you guys.
I'm not selling you. I'm not selling you on it.
Okay. Yeah. I think back to our conversation. Yeah. I resonate with what you're saying about like, somehow being shaped into this like person who's relatively high achieving, wants to excel at things, doesn't want to let people down. Oh my gosh, that to me, that is like, don't let people down. And usually that equals like, like keep improving. Don't make mistakes. Be reliable. And so we can get into what that even looks like in my life. But honestly, I think part of it is probably oldest child energy.
Oh, yes.
So
same.
Same. Okay. So we've talked about this before, right? Eldest child, whatever, just energy. I think also, I don't know, growing up early in my life, academic excellence was a value. And but I'll caveat that with, my parents were not like real pushy about it. I think I just had it in me. Like, I want to excel and I like how it feels to get good grades. And I like when teachers are like pleased with me, like those kinds of things. So again, it didn't even come from my parents necessarily. It just came from other places. I think those things. I think later I was also shaped by being a woman of color, Asian woman of color, oftentimes in like spaces that were dominated by white male presence. And so feeling like I need to I need to do well so that I don't disappear and get discounted. Or does that make sense? Right? Like some of that stuff. Yeah, for me, it comes from everywhere. I'm also an Enneagram. For folks who know about the Enneagram wisdom, I'm a 1 on the Enneagram. So already from the jump, like perfectionism and like hyper self-critique is like just, I don't know, kind of baked into the fabric of my personality. And so I've had to unlearn a lot of things. And like, I think kind of like one of the things is paying attention to the voice of my inner critic and like recognizing this is all internal. Like no one, I don't think this gets projected outward very often, but like internally, there's always a voice in me saying like, what can I do better? What can I do better? Not what needs to get better or what can other people do differently. Sometimes that also plays out too, but it's almost always like, I need to improve. And that's a constant thing. So I think to me, that really plays out into kind of what you're talking about. Like, how to know when the work is done, or how to know when like pretty good is good enough. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
Like pretty good. And yeah, I don't know. Like I bet everybody has their own measuring stick or something, but yeah,
You
learning how
know,
to
I think
rest. I don't know.
I think, it goes back to also, we're talking about the ways that we've been formed, and I want to be careful because I know that sometimes it can be really easy to, blame our upbringing. At the same time that can play like a role in it.
Right.
But we're both parents, and so we're well aware of the fact that we're not perfect. I know I've told my kids like, it's okay if our name comes up in
Yeah.
therapy. Like, I know we're not perfect, and I want them to have the freedom to say whatever they have to say
Yeah.
about us. They're adults now, but and and I say that lighthearted, but with true sincerity, just knowing that there's no way that we did this perfectly. There's
Right.
just absolutely no way. And if I love my kids, I want them to be well and whole. And so if that means that some critique has to come into things that we did as
Right.
parents, so may it be so, right?
Right.
So I'm saying it with that, like that heart and that mindset. I'm not just trying to throw everything like on my parents and upbringing and whatnot, but it does play a role in this. And it reminds me of how important our messaging is and how we engage with people. And, for me, the language, and I think I've already shared this probably before, was very direct, literally saying to my sisters and I that because you are women, because you're women of color, like saying the words, you have 3 strikes against you. You're a girl, you're black, you're Latina. You will always have to work harder than everybody else. And understanding why that was being said, preparing me, and all of that. But just the way that for my personality, the way it latched onto that, and then it's seeing it play out in real life scenarios, like what you were saying. You come into these spaces where it's like, that you do have to be better than everyone else to prove that you deserve this seat at the table, and not that you just deserve the seat at at the table, that you deserve to keep the seat at the table.
Right.
And you can't be absent because there's not as much opportunity. So any opportunity that comes, you got to grab it, no matter how you're feeling or how you're doing, because you don't know when the next opportunity is going to come up, because there's not a lot for fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And so so now it's being reinforced. What was said directly is now being reinforced by life experiences. But the truth of the matter is that it's not sustainable.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to actually enjoy life. Like, so you got that seat at the table, but now are you enjoying it? Or are you just completely just exhausted and, losing yourself, right?
Yeah.
In the midst of it all.
And I think I'm like struck that when you're saying that what you really deeply want is to be present to people that you care about and love. And in order for that to really happen in a healthy way, that's where personal limits or boundaries or figuring out what's enough for you really is vital to that. And we can get into family too. I can kind of think about my own family, because even though my parents, they weren't like pushy about grades, or I don't know, like, there's the trope of Asian parents, like if you don't get an A plus, like, right, like a B plus
Right.
is basically an F. That's the joke,
Yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
But that's not really what informed me by my parents. But my mom, to this day, my mom is one of the hardest workers I know. She works very hard and she
Yeah.
cares about her work, and it's really lovely. And because she cares so much about work, people might say she has a challenging time resting and
Okay.
knowing her, like, what's healthy in the long run for her body. And,
Yeah.
like she's always at the risk of getting sick on the weekends or whatever, things like that. Okay. I come from that model from my mom.
Uh-huh.
And then when I think about my grandmothers, both of my grandmothers, they were, they like were always getting stuff done. Always. I don't think I can remember, especially my maternal grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I really saw her like resting. I'm sure she did. I'm sure she did.
She
But
was a
I'm, but
superhero.
I'm just saying, like, she didn't rest very much. And she also was constantly helping other people to the
Yeah.
point where, at least in my eyes, I'm like, I don't want to disappear into the background because I'm like, I don't know, like just getting stuff done for other people. Like, I don't want that to be like the only way
Yeah.
I navigate the world or am present with people. And so I don't know. I think to me, it also is informed by ancestral
Yeah.
experiences and
Yeah. Was
like
there a reason why that you felt like they worked so hard?
my guess is, I mean, my grandparents were in the generation of like, we work hard to survive and to
Yeah.
provide for the next generation of our family. I think there was you just got to do it. And maybe kind
Yeah.
of talking about like, or related to what you were saying, like, if you don't work incredibly hard, you're, you just, there's like life barriers that are gonna
Yeah.
present themselves and you don't have the
Right.
privilege of resting, right?
No.
I don't know about my mom. Again, her relationship to her work is complicated. She really loves her work, and so that's a little bit different to me.
Mm.
She's choosing into it versus like I
Yeah.
have to.
Right.
So I'm not sure what she would say if she was asked that question. But yeah, I don't know. I think about all these, like, especially women of color, like we're saying, for different reasons, not really having either the luxury or the permission or the freedom to
Yeah.
literally rest or take a
Right.
nap or right, like there's the nap ministry, like it's like
I know.
revolutionary because it's
They have
like
like this whole thing. I see them on Instagram. It's like, so
yeah, and it's
what does a ministry
basically
meeting look like, y'all?
yeah, right. And it's right. It's like the idea that real liberation work, part of it is our own rest, like reclaiming our own rest as
Yeah.
a form of liberation. And
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, that is great. But also that's a reflection of how underdeveloped that is for whatever reason.
Oh,
So,
absolutely. Absolutely. And, like you said, like I think the older generations were living through something, obviously, where this wasn't an option to be able to pause or to rest. And the younger, newer generations, where maybe that isn't always the case, but I can't help but wonder if just that's something that we continue just to carry like in our bloodline, if it's like imprinted on us as a way of living, that even though we're not being told this, we're not in that situation anymore. That it's just how generations have lived their lives through either oppression or whatever it is that's what was happening. That is just the whole idea. And then there's the messaging, I think, on outside of that as well, when you look at just society and the world, and then break that down, I think also just within our faith context sometimes too. What gets awarded, what gets praised,
right.
what gets validated as you're really for the kingdom kind of a thing. Those are the things that tends to happen. And you don't hear as much about when you've set a boundary. So, and I'm just realizing as we're talking, and when we're done, I'm going to go ahead and text her and just tell her. I don't know why I didn't think about this, but so one of the people that I'm working with for one of the retreats I'm going to be working to, in the next month or so. We were trying to figure out like rooming the night before the retreat, because we're going to get there the night before as a team and just get ready right for the retreat. And at first I was going to stay with a couple of them, and then we're thinking about like staying someplace else. And I've been just kind of in this place where I'm really having to. I'm struggling right now, right? And I started to feel a little bit of this panic coming up in me. Like I literally could feel my heart racing, like my breathing went shallow about the whole idea of just staying with, any of them the night before. And and I had my therapy appointment the next day, and I'm driving there, and I'm still kind of panicking, like, this is so much. There's so much I have to do, and all these interactions and people and everything. And I tell my therapist, I'm like gripping the steering wheel, just thinking about. And then I'm gripping the steering wheel because you should be having fun. This is what you wanted, and all of this stuff. So at the end of it all, what I decided was that I was going to let her know that I am going to be coming from a 2-day meeting. I'm going to have a nice long drive from where I live over to Sonoma, and that'll be good transition. But I think so that I can come in fully present, having a solo night that night before would be best. And so I'm going to go ahead and book a hotel room, this maybe about half hour from the retreat area. And I will meet them there in the morning. The retreat doesn't start till later that day, so I have, we'll have time.
Oh, I love that.
And her response to me was, thank you so much, Brenda, for responding to this and for setting those boundaries for yourself and for recognizing what you need to be healthy. And she's actually done that a couple of times where I've had to put like a boundary, and I've had to say, no, I don't have the capacity for this.
Yeah.
That if that could start to get normalized, that we also highlight for people when they've set a boundary, and we affirm that.
Right.
I think that could be so helpful because it gives people permission to say no.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't get as praised. Your yes is what gets praised.
Right.
Not your no.
Right.
Not your no.
Yeah, I like that. And yes. And as you're describing that story or that interaction, I'm like, oh, there are a few people in my life who are very good about setting their own boundaries and communicating them. And on the receiving end, when like I hear that or see that, to me, I'm like, great, like good job. I'm so happy that you did that. Okay, that's my feeling. And those are the same people who, like you said, are the ones to extend so much encouragement when I do that for myself as well. And so I think, honestly, it's the simple principle of like, we can't give away what we don't really have for ourselves. So I think really it's those of us who can work through some of this stuff for ourselves, then we become the kinds of people in a really, in a way that's really has a lot of integrity. We get to do that for one another, and we get to like honor that for each other, encourage that in each other, not... I don't know, what are the other responses could be like, well, now I'm not giving you, I don't know, like I'm going to write you off as somebody who like didn't do a good job or something.
Right. And the whole writing somebody off, like so like if they say no, like, I don't really have the capacity for this right now. And then you don't hear from them again, right? You never asked them for anything else again. Like, just like they said no to this thing doesn't mean that now that's their no for everything.
Yeah.
So just take people like one situation at a time. If there's now something else that happens and that you want to be able to ask them to participate, ask them. Don't leverage over them the fact that they said no to you before. Like, ask again for this other thing whenever it happens. Hey, go on, you know, we have this event or we have this thing. I thought of you. What does this look like for you, your season of life right now? Is there a part of it that would work for you? Like, so maybe not like completely writing someone off, like, you know, either.
Right.
And I'm thinking like even, you know, and I keep going back to like ministry context. And I guess because a lot of the people I do work with are in that space of, you know, if we could do that with, in, you know, with our volunteers or on teams or whatever that looks like, if a person has to say like, I know I can't be a part of this or I can't do this thing, like just I wonder what that would look like if you as a leader were to be able to say, obviously it's different than like work and whatnot, like responsibilities and things like that. But if you're asking someone, if, you know, as a volunteer and they say that, hey, maybe, and I can't do this, or like, if instead of just saying, okay, no, that's fine, like I understand, which is still good, taking that extra step to say, you know, I'm, you know, just like affirm that person that, you know, I'm really glad that you're setting a boundary. Especially if they're expressing, hey, I'm in a season of life right now. Maybe I have young kids, or I'm a caregiver, or I have school, and I'm really feeling stretched, and I need to pull back on this, that, or the other. For now, our response to be able to affirm the fact that they're recognizing their limitations, they're honoring their limitations, and I'm literally telling them that and affirming them in that, because I can almost guarantee you that for the majority of us, what it takes to get to that place, to say,
Right.
hey, I'm sorry, no, I can't right now.
Right.
It was hard to do that. And we're feeling awful.
Right.
We're feeling like we let you down.
Right. Okay. And maybe to take that a step further, I love that idea of being able to communicate that affirmation to people, because knowing, like you said, it was hard for them to communicate that. I also think that for example, if I'm setting the culture of a team that I'm leading, or setting the culture of maybe a longer term project or commitment that is not just me, but involves other people, I think there can be ways that on the front end, before we launch into the thing that we all care about and we all committed, right? We can say things that will set the tone for that. Like I could say something like, you know, our presence, you know, matters in this space and in the thing that we're working on together. Here's what the commitment looks like. And if anything comes up, because we all understand life things happen that we didn't expect, then we ask that you communicate that to so-and-so or all of us, or kind of whatever the expectations are. But it's just recognizing that humans are human and life things happen. Serene-ish goat interruptions may occur, right? Like some crisis might come up that you guys, folks, did not plan for or anticipate on the front end, but like allowing that to be just stated and kind of talk about, okay, if that happens, what are the expectations? I think can also create an environment that is healthier than that other version of like treating people like robots if they sign on to a commitment. It's like, well, that's strange, because that's not how life works.
Yeah. No, I've heard this, and I can't remember exactly how it goes, but it's been used in the sense of like ministry context, working in ministry, about like a moving train, and you kind of have to be like on or off the moving train.
Oh.
And that was like, yes. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's stressful.
Very stressful, because basically what you're saying about like that, and that's what I'm saying, situations like that, that's just one of just so many, reinforces this like work ethic within me of, there's limitations here. There's a moving train. So either you're on or you're off this baby, right? And so if opportunities come, you have to grab that because you don't know when the next one is. And yeah, I like distance running. I'm also a very short person and my little legs can't catch up to the train. I'm trying to get on this.
I gotta like run.
Oh, like, man, my daughter compares me to a little Yorkshire Terrier, especially when my hair is like this. If I put it up, I have the little
Oh my gosh, cute.
When I put it up like that, her favorite dog's a Yorkshire Terrier because of me. And so this, the whole moving train thing. What if we, like you said, change that and we just said, but you know what? The train can stop. Yeah. We're the ones setting this train in motion. We can make it stop. Right? We can have stops where people can get on, they can get off, they can assess. And then obviously there's going to be times where it is moving. We have responsibilities, we have deadlines and whatnot. But this is not, we're throwing you off. You got to run to jump on, like the whole thing. That setting the tone ahead of time, open communication. Let's just see understanding where each other's coming from, understanding seasons change. At each stop of the train, the station doesn't look exactly the same. It looks very different. What does it look like for you here? And it's going to slow things down. It's probably going to change what being productive looks like. We'll probably have to shift what our metrics of growth would look like because it's going to slow it all down. But won't we be healthier people for it?
Yeah. I mean, we could get into the whole, like, what metrics are we even measuring things with, right? That's the whole system that I honestly feel like at a visceral level, I'm like, I don't even buy into that system. And when I feel like that is the culture of a group or a thing or a commitment, I'm like, I don't want to be a part of that because that's not good for me.
Yeah. No. And we put that on ourselves personally as well. I think that we can do that within organizations, but because I know I've had to look at myself and, part of what I'm in right now, a lot of breaking things down. What metrics of success have I set for myself? Where does that come from? Says who? And why do they have a voice in my life when it comes to that right now? Like, does that really line up with what God is wanting to invite me into as life-giving? And I know, at least for me, a portion of that has come from that I have to, I feel like I have to show that my life is worth something and is of some value. Because especially when we were raising our kids, I was an at-home mom and we were homeschooling. So I didn't have the career. I didn't have the titles. And so I dreaded every time somebody would ask, so what do you do? Right? And it's like, Gerson was able to share his profession and what he does. And oh my gosh, it's amazing. And then I would share, we're homeschooling our kids. I'm at home. And it was usually met with this oh, yeah, that's really that kind of like, that's sweet. And so then if I could add on other things that I was doing in ministry and I was leading this, I was leading that, I was leading teams, and then more of the excitement would come in. And so some of that is like, okay, so now what I'm learning from society is what's considered successful, what gives me value. But why do they get to dictate what that looks like, Yeah.
Yeah, right. And so maybe reclaiming some of that is how we're talking about, maybe as we think about our own lives, what's really important and essential, and what are things that don't fall into that category for us, and what kind of capacity or energy do we have in any given day or week, because those things fluctuate, right?
Yeah.
And we know this on a biological level, people's bodies have different energy at different times, days, seasons, right? And all kinds of things affect that, right? The food I ate yesterday, the amount of energy output I had over the weekend, the social things I needed to do last week or tomorrow or whatever. And all those things, I don't know, they're just hard to, those are just elements to like pay attention to and be able to discern for ourselves. Okay, like what's going to allow me to really enter into today, like in the way that I intend to? And are there things that I said yes to months ago that I need to either adjust how I do them or cancel them? I don't know. Just we have like some freedom there that I think we can give ourselves and each other.
I'm laughing because when you said something I said months ago and like, so all the introverts will understand what I'm about to share.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to say. Okay, go.
We have these moments of, and it's funny because I'm like in the middle of being like, I can swing pretty easy either way, introvert, extrovert, but my introvert will have these moments of just a burst of energy and plan this thing. Yeah, let's do it. Let's get together. And then the day comes and I'm telling we're having an argument with myself. Why did you do this? Why did you plan? It sounded great at the time.
Right.
But I was having a really extreme extrovert, like rush of energy in that moment that I said, let's all do this. And then the day comes and I am dragging myself out the
And are you imagining scenarios like, could this get canceled somehow?
Oh, I am thinking of all the things. What could I say that is not quite a lie, but we're like right up to the line, Lord, where I won't have to ask forgiveness. Like, maybe it'll rain. Maybe it'll be like a thunderstorm, Noah's Ark all over again. I don't know.
I have my own version of that. I understand what you're saying, like the social commitments that we may have made. For sure, I have that too. And I generally am an extrovert, but I think as I get into older age, my second half of life, I think I'm becoming more introverted or honoring that part of me a little differently.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
But one thing that this is like back to have we made commitments or do we have responsibilities that we like fantasize in the moment, like getting out of? When I was in college ministry, Steve and I were on a team of people and we rotated who was giving the sermon at like the large group weekly gathering. So all of us took different turns giving a sermon. For me, like for some folks on my team, they loved it. They thrived. They loved public speaking. They were gifted at it. For me, it was exhausting. Like it was exhausting to do it, but really it was the 2 weeks or 3 weeks leading up when I knew I have to write and prepare a sermon.
Yeah.
And like I would just feel anxious. It was like birthing a baby. It was like ugh,
oh my gosh,
like that much labor and work. And then seriously, 1 or 2 days beforehand, and I think only Steve has heard this story. Like this would be a cycle. Every time I had to give a talk, 1 or 2 days before the actual night of giving the thing, I would be in my room or at my computer or in a coffee shop, seriously imagining like, can I, like what? Like what fake emergency can I invent so that I can call my supervisor, like our team leader? His name is Scott. I'd be like,
Scott, I hope you're not listening.
Yes.
Don't listen.
Don't listen to this, Scott. Just kidding. I would be fantasizing like, what kind of story can I make up so that I can get out of this, and like not be totally ashamed,
Yeah.
But it was
if
that
I walk
kind of
across
regret.
the coffee shop and I slip on that thing of water over there, it wouldn't hurt too bad, but maybe it'd be just enough to get me out of having to do this.
Or can I say that my grandma died and I have to like go?
Oh my God.
I know it's dark. That didn't happen. That was a story I was like imagining telling him. But
oh my goodness.
anyway.
But anyways, well, okay. So I am curious now that we've had our time of confession about all of our fantasizing of how we can get out of stuff. Yes, yes. Um, okay, so I have some things that I am currently practicing, playing around with to help me manage things day to day. But I want to be able to hear from you first. What is like, how do you, okay, what are some things that maybe you've done or you're currently doing that is helping you to just put a healthy guard on, okay, this is enough? And have you been able to figure out what that kind of feels like in your body or something that triggers your mind for you to know, okay, this is enough? Have you figured that out yet for yourself in this season? I know it could change
Right.
in the next, but
I think I'm still figuring that out for this season. So it's a work in progress, and a few ways I'm thinking about it. Okay, I'll give you an example. Like, there have been a couple different days in the last month or two where I've had back to back meetings, like 3 different things or 4 different time commitments that I cannot move because it's, it has to do
yeah,
with other people.
right.
Other people scheduling appointments with me, or like a team meeting that for our nonprofit that we need to meet. So I can tell there's something that is not that sustainable, because on those days, midway through the day, even when I'm not done, I'm starting to dread the next upcoming things. I'm like, I know I'm like already beyond the bandwidth that I have, or like my
Yeah.
battery is just, totally at 10% now. So I've tried to become just aware of those times. And I think sometimes, like some days when it's stuff that I cannot move and don't want to move ultimately, like I think of what then do I need to protect time wise or energy wise before that and after that day.
Yeah.
So it might be on the beginning of that day or the evening, or like even the day before or the day after. It kind of just
Right.
depends. But like, what kind of buffer, rest, reset, regroup kind of space do I need so that I can, like sprint through and get like show up to these things, and yeah, in a way that isn't
Yeah.
totally overwhelming or exhausting.
That's good. Yeah. That's good.
Yeah, I think it's also, again, like Steve and I together have been talking a lot about like our changing levels of energy and what helps us feel rested and replenished and what drains us. And this has just been an ongoing conversation, and it's really different for the two of us. But I think that to me has also helped me pay attention to like what was so draining about that interaction that I had, or what kind of rest, or like what kind of rest do I need because I'm really tired. And yeah, I don't know, trying to
Yeah.
figure that out. I certainly haven't cracked the code or something.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I love the margins you're putting because it's here. You're like you said, you're looking at, you know, this is what's planned. This is, I can't change the majority of this, but what I do have control over is how I'm going to come into it and how I want to be able to come out of it.
Right.
And so being able to take control of those those two spaces, because we are going to have days like that, right? Like where there's back to back to back, where that's going to happen. So I love being able to do that.
Yeah, what have you been doing and trying?
Right now, I am day by day looking at the day that, what the next day is going to look like and all the scheduling. I am looking at what are meetings that I can either reschedule or just cancel for that month. And right now I am exercising doing that.
Nice.
Just because I know I am in the thick of what I am working through right now for my own mental health. And, and then in doing that, I don't necessarily tell them why I'm doing it, which is also something that I'm working on, is that I don't have to overly explain everything. I can just say, hey, I need to cancel this month. I'm so sorry. And my sorry is like genuine, because I would like to be able to meet, but I can't. Like, I know why I can't. But I can, and then I can give other options of other days that we can reschedule for this to happen. And maybe that's going to be the next month. And so I've been practicing that. But then there are certain things where I can't. Like, these are team meetings. There's a thing I can't do that. So I've been looking at whatever that next day is. And this is probably going to be a very unpopular opinion or thing to do with some people. And if there's some that feel really passionately about not utilizing this tool, I hear you. I hope we don't get angry emails or anything like that.
Maybe we will.
Maybe we will. But this is one of those spaces where I have utilized ChatGPT, and I will put in the space what my schedule looks like for that next day. And I've put in where I am right now, energy-wise, mental health-wise. I'm already getting help. I'm working through this. I would like a day to help me kind of plan out my day that keeps that in mind. And what is given back is just ways to schedule my day out. Like when I get up in the morning, a gentle practice when it comes to maybe tea or whatever, some reading in between meetings, maybe going for a walk, a mindset to incorporate, how much time to spend on emails, how much time to spend on whether it's writing, and it's little things in between that. Now, I know someone could say, you could schedule your day like that yourself. And I know I have been able to do that in the past. But I'm also having to recognize when I have very little energy,
right?
I have to budget that energy. And for me to sit down and go through all the minuteness of what I need to right now get through my days would be exhausting to me right now. Now, this is not my forever. This is a moment. And so I'm just using this as a tool to help me in this moment. And so that's one of the things that I've been doing. And then, my time in scripture, I've also just breaking it down into this little bite sizes. I do this a little bit in the morning. It's probably maybe 7 minutes. A little bit in the midday when I'm having my lunch, and then a little bit in the evening. So I'm just breaking it down. It's not for heavy study. I am just reading. I'm reading out of a translation that would not encourage me to study, but just to read and just to soak in. And I turn some of those passages that I read into prayers for me. But I just keep it just really light. I'm not striving here. I am just being here in this moment, and just letting that be. So
yeah, those are great.
Yeah.
I love that. And I love how you were describing the tools or the kind of energy that you have right now, recognizing it's pretty finite. And so how do you want to, what are the supports or tools or tricks that you are incorporating right now for this season that are working well? And
Yeah.
I just want to say to everybody, myself, you, anybody listening, we're all trying to figure out what resources do we have inside of us and outside of us, and how do we do the best we can with what we have. And I totally get what you were saying about right now I don't have that kind of energy to make all these executive functioning decisions, because that's gonna really max me out, and I'm limited in that kind of thinking or feeling right now and decision making. And Yeah, and I mean, it's so interesting to hear you describe like what that does for your day to like, okay, I have a sense of, here's like the things that I want to get done, here's the energy I have, and here's a way to like kind of sift through it to like have today go, as well as I can hope for or something,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah,
And
exactly.
I think I do the same in a different way. I mean, I like most mornings I get my coffee, I get my breakfast, and before I get out the door to take the kids to school, I have my notebook and my planner, and I just kind of jot down, I scan like what's coming up today and what's coming up for the next week. I look at the things that are unmovable. I look at the things that, oh, I could move them. I could shift them. And then just other like thinking about like, what else do I want to get done this week that aren't even here unplanned, right?
Yeah.
And it gives me, I just have a little bit of time to just check in with myself. And I really like those times because yeah, there are some days I'm like, ooh, today I have lots of energy to like bang out big projects and
Right.
great, like I have some time to do it. Or maybe today I have less energy or maybe my day is filled with things. So when in the upcoming days do I want to get something done?
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
just allows me like points of decision making and discernment and gauging like what's happening in me. Like, am I still as excited to do this thing? Well, if not, then what do I want to do with that, right?
Yeah.
Are there some
Exactly.
changes or shifts that I can make to, yeah, to address that or something?
And this energy, different things take different types of energy. So when we engage with people, that's one kind of energy. When we're
Right.
doing administrative type things like our emails and all of that, like that's a different kind of energy. When we're writing or something
Yeah.
like for you in art, like that's a different kind of energy that is there. So also having to like navigate if this is going to be a heavy people interaction day, that's like what's my energy tank look like for that? Do I need to shift some things? Do I need to figure out how to come into it in a healthy way, how to exit that? Because I'm probably going to overextend,
Right.
So also recognizing that there's different types of energy. Same way, like you have different types of accounts, right? You have your checking account, you have your savings account, you have whatever, I don't know, whatever kind of accounts you have, right?
Right.
But I have to look at all the different accounts and like navigate what that energy looks like and how much I have in each of those tanks to be able to give and how much time it takes to replenish that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Another thing about my watch, it will tell me my body, like body energy,
Uh-huh.
like it's like a generic thing. So basically, based on how active I've been, if I've done like a long run or a hike or whatever, and just my daily activities, it's tracking me. And so, like after like a run or a hike or something, it'll tell me how many hours I need to
Mm.
restore my body energy. And
Yeah.
and I look at that and it's like, oh my gosh, that's literally how we are too as just people in life.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just keep spending, spending, spending. You need some time for that energy to get replenished.
Right.
I'm going to go and help lead this retreat. That's going to take 4 days of a certain type of energy.
Mm-hmm.
I need some gap in there to replenish before I go into another thing that's heavy people oriented,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
So
good.
that's,
And I think to add to that, it's different for each of us, and this might be really fluid as well for me and for you. Like, what is life giving in this season, and what's been life depleting, and kind
yeah,
of learning how to like notice this because that can help us discern along the way because something back to what you were saying like different kinds of energy like also different activities might have felt really life-giving 2 months
yeah,
ago but
yeah,
that might not be the same thing for me
yeah,
now and
right.
it kind of doesn't really matter why. I mean, I guess you could go
Mm-hmm.
into like figure out why, but it's just I feel like those are also important data points or markers for ourselves as we make decisions. And
Mm-hmm.
so I would love to become people and be in community with others who like really can pay attention to like things that are life-giving, people that are life-giving, experiences that are life-giving. And then, on the flip end, on the opposite end, like, what are the things or people or activities that actually have been pretty draining? Not to say that they're bad or that I shouldn't do them, but they've drained me. And so I need to like offset or kind of counterbalance that with other things.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, great talk. Love being able to talk this through with you. Absolutely. Because you're in it. And I just, I'm looking forward to now after our conversation, like as I'm interacting with people, looking for people who are setting some good boundaries for themselves. They're being brave and courageous to say, no, not right now. And I know I would like to be better at affirming them when they do that, because I know what it feels. I know what it's felt like in this season to have someone who's been people who've done that with me. And so I want to be able to be better at that. And I want to encourage people that when someone is setting a boundary and they're just saying, I am just depleted right now. I don't have the capacity right now. Not right now. Maybe, when they change the time, just affirming them that they're aware of what their limitations are. That's not a bad thing. And just affirming that, thank you so much for setting that boundary. I really appreciate you doing that. Guaranteed, they're probably going to be surprised, because whenever I've gotten that response, I've been a little taken back, and it's been a little healing. It's like these little bits of healing for my soul that can feel so cracked right now. And so it's like these little bits of healing. And so that's such an easy gift to give to people around us. So I want to encourage all of us to do that, especially those of us who are leaders and there's people that we're asking things of, to set the tone. Hey, this is a space where if for some reason, like, you can't, talk to me. Let's have that conversation. And then affirm them when they do set those boundaries and encourage them in that. And for everyone who you're still trying to figure out what's enough, we're in it together. We're with you. We're feeling it out. Use the tools that you've got. Learn some different tools that you can incorporate. See what works. And just know that, hey, what's working for this season may not work for the next season. And that's okay too. Just like Larissa said, right now this is life-giving. In a couple of months, maybe it isn't. And so we'll figure it out. But all right. Well, great conversation. Can't wait to talk to everybody again soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for spending this time with us. We truly hope something we shared offered you a little bit of encouragement on your journey.
And if you're enjoying these conversations, we'd love to invite you to our Substack, the Serene-ish podcast.
It's where we dive even deeper with extra resources, reflections, and even a community chat where we can all keep the conversation going. Just head to the sereneinishpodcast.substack.com and join us.
Until next time, remember to look for peace, even if it's just a serene-ish kind.